number 3 tonight. I'm not a gangster. I'm a scholar. This came with a link that goes to YouTube. So let's check out the video, then we'll discuss it.
Yo, what's up, man? Red light is on, man. Camera rolling. Hold up. What's up, man? I came from that way. Y'all probably thought I was gonna come from this way, but I came from that way. I changed it up. I change up the way I come on the screen. One day I might flip over the moment. I might do a somersault and flip over. I ain't no gangster, man. I'm a scholar. Check this out. You heard what I said? I ain't no gangster, man. I'm a scholar. I ain't no gangster. And don't want to be one. Check me out, man. I don't want to be one. Why would I want to be that? For what? It don't end well. The majority of the time, the probability of you experiencing failure being a gangster is higher than being a scholar. But I'm a scholar though, man, and I'm proud of that, man. That's who I am, man. Y'all be in the comments section calling me OG, this and that. And that shit was made up out in California, man, on the West Coast, OG. We didn't never say that over here, man. You understand? If a nigga was old, we say nigga old school. Call him old school. This nigga from old school. But that's what y'all say now. Y'all call me OG. You be calling me OG, original gangster. I mean, I don't know. I can't stop it. You know, that's what y'all do. But I don't claim that. You'll never hear me saying that because I'm not that. I'm a scholar, man. Right? And on top of being a scholar, I'm a businessman. Right? I'm a real estate man. I trade options. I start businesses. I had a window cleaning business. I write books. I'm an author. I have my own t-shirt line. I have my own clothing company, right? And I'm fly as a motherfucker, right? I'm a scholar. I'm very intelligent. I'm very smart. I love to read books. I love to gather information, right? I love to play chess. I like to pit my mind against the world's mind and come out on top and succeed, right? So that's who I am. Understand? I'm a scholar. I got a bachelor's degree in accounting from Morris Brown College in Atlanta, Georgia, historically black college. At that time, I was coming through Morris Brown College graduated more black certified public accountants than any private school in this country of its comparable size. And I was one of the top accounting students in the motherfucking class I was in. Check me out. Ask them. And I have fly honeys everywhere. Honeys at Spelman. I had some honeys over there at Clark. I had a bunch of honeys at Morris Brown. Then I had some honeys that was from Atlanta, them Georgia peaches. Nigga was money, man. But get back to the topic. Sorry that I digressed, but allow me to come back. I got my master's degree from NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology, down there in Newark, Brick City, Newark over there. Over there, down 21. I got an MS degree in financial management. I graduated cum laude. I had a 3.27 grade point average, and I was working full-time doing mergers and acquisitions at this company up in Parsippany and doing compliance and doing a lot of legal work. I know legal. I ain't got no law degree, but I know how to write agreements, amendment agreements, three-party agreements, uniform franchise offering circulars, all kind of shit I learned just working in that department, man. So I'm a scholar, man. I'm a scholar. I'm educated, man. Well, miseducated, you know, because we could get into that. We could go into the weeds with that because I know a lot of brothers, a lot of the brothers, the black power brothers, they're gonna be like, well, this system is miseducation. And I dig where you're coming from. I read Carter G. Woodson, The Miseducation of the Negro. But in terms of status quo or politically correct terms, what someone would call educated in this country, them having degrees, I would be that. But not only do I have that theoretical education or miseducation, I've done my own self-reach. I've read hundreds of books, man. I love reading books, man. I remember when I was in the feds, I was in prison. I used to go to the library and get a encyclopedia and get the whole big and just read it. I would go because at the compound I was at FCI Morgantown in West Virginia. It was a lot of doctors who was inmates. It was a lot of doctors on the compound, defrauding Medicare, Medicaid, double billing Medicare, Medicaid. A lot of pharmacists were selling drugs out the back. You understand? Dentists, all kind of motherfuckers, write prescriptions. Some of them was addicted to drugs or selling drugs, whatever. But they had a huge medical reference library section, and I used to go down there and get them big fat medical books and sit down and read it all about the brain, the left cerebral cortex, the right cerebral cortex, the medulla oblongata, the basal ganglia, the frontal lobe, the cerebellum, all of these parts of the brain and how the brain stimulated different parts of the body, the nerve to get the blood, all that, man, the heart, the two sides of the heart, the pulmonary artery and the aorta, right? Broken down into 4 quadrants, right? And all that blood. See, let me get into. See, I'm a scholar, man. I ain't no gangster. I ain't no OG. You know what I'm saying? Y'all call me that. I ain't from California. I ain't from over there. I'm from Jersey, man. I'm from the East Coast. You understand? We don't talk like that here. We never talk like that over here, but they talking like that everywhere. But that's what y'all call me that. But I just wanted to clarify, you understand, and speak my truth. You understand that I ain't no gangster. I'm a scholar. You understand? Now I did spend some time in the streets over in Harlem in the '80s, all around Jersey, down in Atlanta. You understand, doing what one might say. You understand, is that type of lifestyle, but I'm not that. I don't profess to be that. I don't subscribe to that. I'm just a fly ass nigga. You understand? That's really what I am. You understand? Look at how good this goddamn jacket look on me, man. My goddamn beard. Look at my skin clean. Nigga fit over 50, man. Beard money. Got the salt and pepper in there. The honeys love the salt and pepper because it shows wisdom. It shows that I'm a scholar. And then they look at my body and my chest and they be like, damn, but the nigga 51, but his chest though, his body don't look like that. He look like he like 20 something, 30 something. Then he fly. Look at how he talk. I want to give him some. And you know what I tell him? What I tell him? Man, I want some. Always believe in yourself, man. And speak your truth. Be who you are. And don't try to be other than who you are. Then you fronting. You understand? God damn nigga, man. Peace.
Hey, let me speak first.
Yeah, go ahead, Bakari.
Before I go, look, I put it in the chat, right? He got all these degrees, all these businesses, all this money, and he still end up in the feds. What the fuck was he doing? So you going to school full time, you working full time. How the hell you got time to be in the streets, man? He ran a whole lot of people's life together to create something for him so he can sound good while he's standing up there giving that damn speech, man. I got what the hell? I don't even know. What the hell was he? What the hell was he talking about? I ain't no OG, I'm a scholar. Then he went on to the honeys. Then he went on to you all in the streets and you're doing all this. And man, I'm gonna be honest, man. Listening to somebody like that can have you a little confused. Cause I'm just being honest, man. Maybe I don't know, cause I wouldn't know street dude, right? We don't say OG down south. We call one. They call us unc. They see the gray in your beard, you're unc. You're uncle. Everybody they call you unc, and they nephew. That's what we say down here. Ain't no OG, but I don't know. Maybe it's me because I wasn't in the streets, right? But I don't know if can somebody explain to me how did he have time to be in the streets? He got his degree from Morris Brown, then he got his degree from New Jersey Institute of Technology. Then he got a different degree from somewhere else. Then he ended up in the feds, but he was working full time, going to school. Like, man, he done just ran. I don't know. Maybe he's telling the truth, but I don't even see how he had time to do all that shit he was talking about doing. The streets, full time, 40-hour-a-week job, going to school full time, and you running the damn streets, man. You know, I don't know, dude. Who the hell is this?
Let me see if I can put some context to the conversation.
Yeah,
Okay.
whose minds is this? Go ahead.
Yeah. So his name is Sean something. Anyone who check, Koku could put his channel in the chat section. So what he is he is like an exercise guy. He's an older guy who does videos where he does like exercise. He exercises with a bunch of different other people and exposes the world to just health and training your body to get stronger, even though you at a certain age. And I mean, he kind of like works with many different people around the East Coast, in particular in New York and New Jersey. But he has people on his show. But he's like a motivational kind of trainer guy. But his profession was he was in the finance industry, you know, and at one point he was a millionaire. So he used to I think that the feds got him on cookbooks. He was cooking the books in his business, and they send him away to jail for like maybe 5 years or whatever, tax evasion or whatever. And he's kind of like trying to restart his life. But I think that his story is motivational because just the fact that he still have this self confidence in himself, and you can't really judge a book by its cover, because even though he have some people would say that he have got a language. This is a very educated individual, like brother Okari like to tout HBCUs, and he talk about his resume and the fact that he was able to get on and get in different circles coming from an HBCU background. But all this is basically showing that sometimes you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, because even though a lot of his language and vernacular is street on a street level, this was a highly successful brother. Yeah, very highly successful. So I think that the premise of this is you really should never judge a book by its cover. And I know it's popular to be a gangster, but this brother saying after coming out of the feds is nah, it's like nah, it's popular to be a scholar. It's popular to be a thinker, and that's important to get out to our people. But I'll stop there and let your brothers rock.
Bakari, you want to add anything after hearing that?
I understand what you're saying, but still, I was just trying to figure out, because he's talking about feds and the streets, and I was just trying to figure out, man, how he had time to do all of that stuff. I ain't knocking nobody. Good, he went.
Nah. When he was younger, he said he was in the streets. But when he got all these, I guess, degrees, he had his own businesses and things like that as he got
How
older.
old was he? That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. How old was he when he went to Morris Brown? He was in the streets younger. Then he came to Morris
yeah,
Brown.
probably he's in his teens. So, but
And
yeah,
I'm not,
that's when he was really. Go
and
ahead,
I'm
brother.
not.
Go ahead.
There's nothing wrong with not being a gangster. I ain't no gangster either, but I damn sure let people know I ain't no punk. Uh, I ain't no street dude, but I most definitely ain't no punk. I have to end those statements with I ain't no punk, because people would, for some strange reason, we think being a gangster and being a street dude is cool. So him saying that is not cool, I understand that. I was just getting a little confused with how he had the time to do all of that stuff he was talking about. He did, man. I know when I'm gonna say like that. I didn't have it. I wouldn't have that much time. And it also could have been because I had a son. I had my oldest son young when I was 19. Could have been why I didn't have that much time. But I'm just trying to figure out how he had all of that time to do everything all at the same time, working full time, going to school full time, running the streets full time. When did he sleep? I don't know. But if he went through something, he got his life together, that's good too. I'm not knocking the fact that he got his life together. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Good to see a brother able to get himself together. There's nothing wrong with that. I was just wondering how the hell he had that much time. I'm just saying that's it.
I agree.
But I'm gonna listen offline, man. I'm gonna try to come back on.
I appreciate you, Bakari. Thanks for coming through.
Tell
You guys make
Azuli,
sure. Go
I'm
ahead,
sorry, go
Bakari.
ahead. I say tell Azuli he can come up now.
Yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to Bakari, okay? Let's welcome in this brother here who is not a scholar, but he's a gangster. Carl Hezekiah. How are you this week, Carl? Carl, you muted if you're talking.
No, he's talking some gangster stuff. He talking that gangster code. You just don't understand.
Yeah. Maybe Carl's not here right now. Let's welcome in this other brother, Real Black Gentleman. How are you this week?
I'm good. I just want to say, you know, I'm not a scholar, right? I'm a researcher, right? You know what I'm saying? I gotta go out and search. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta go around a corner. You know what I'm saying? And I'm also not a researcher. You know what I'm saying? I'm a consultant. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta go out there and say things to people. Look, I know when people, you know what I'm saying, is trying to like market themselves. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to like, you know, just trying to like, he said a lot. He rambled in what he was trying to say. He's trying to be so optimistic in how he's you know, portraying himself, is that he's not, you know what I'm saying, he kind of gets all around it to the point where it's like, don't worry, I'm not like that. I'm this, I'm this, and I'm this, and I'm this, and I can do this and this and this and this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what he's trying to say. It's just like, I hear something like this, and it's just like, you know what I'm saying? It's like what Charlie Brown, just like womp womp womp, the mom just like womp 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 womp. Like, I see where someone's trying to, like, you know what I'm saying, like sell, you know what I'm saying, like put a pitch in. It's just like, look, I see where he's trying to go. I just like, man, look, you're not making that much daylight between you in this hypothetical of the person you trying to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I take people like this, you know what I'm saying? I keep them, you know what I'm saying? I file them accordingly, and you know what I'm saying? I just keep it pushing.
Yeah, but
all about the rain. You're talking about like the you know what I'm saying, like you know a little, you know, the saying, a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing, man.
But real black, hear me out.
Yeah.
You don't think it's like good to talk to yourself and like say positive things to yourself, because you know the world will have an image and an idea about you, and sometimes it's good for you to define your own self, because people will put labels on you, and it's good for you to put labels on yourself. You know, even if you might not already arrived at that position yet, it's good to express that. Like Muhammad Ali used to say, before he even get into any fight, he used to claim he was the greatest until he become the greatest. You know what I mean? I think it's good to have that personal self confidence. You know, I don't know what you think about that.
I do. I hear what I'm listening to what you. I listen to what you say. I just think that you have to guard it to a degree. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to. You never want to oversell. You know what I'm saying? Your confidence. I can hold that like a little light in me, and just like keep that little light. You know what I'm saying? This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I don't have to, you know, be like, you know, magnitude 20 about it. You know what I'm saying? I can, you know what I'm saying, control my output, as it were. You know what I'm saying? If I think I'm a bright person, you know what I'm saying, my actions can show brilliance. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I go about it.
I respect that. The action should show, and I respect that. I do think that you should have a dialogue with yourself from time to time, but I also believe that the action should show it as well. But sometimes you got to talk it until you're actually doing it.
Oh yeah,
It's for me.
There's nothing wrong with putting it. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong. I don't. I'm not. When I see it, I don't like. I'm not knocking it. I just think that he's like, you know what I'm saying, he's feeling himself. You know what I'm saying? That's why I chalk it up to. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I do. I'm not going to go within and research this dude and see what he's about. Like, because you know what I'm saying? Like, for me, for starters, like, how do I say it? I know what he's trying to make. Like, I'm not a gangster. I'm not street. I'm not that. I've done some other things. You know what I'm saying? I study and stuff. I get what he's trying to do. And like, you know, just because of what you think that I was, you know what I'm saying? I get that. My whole, it's just like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times you don't, you know what I'm saying? What's understood doesn't have to be said. You know what I'm saying?
It's too braggadocious.
Oh yeah. I'm
I
going
hear
out
you,
here
man.
and saying, float
I
like a
hear you.
butterfly and sing like a bee. I can be like, man, like I'm telling you, like it's
I
just
hear you.
like I mean, people, everyone has their own brilliance if you pay attention to people. I mean, sometimes if a person, like, I find myself sometimes like irritated with people. And so like I always try to like put if I can just, recognize and give it put certainty to it. You know what I'm saying? Where it's coming from, the you know what I'm saying? I can put distance between me and not put it so close to heart. Cause I mean, that's one thing. It's like I can't let other people know what another person eats doesn't make me shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like I have to always keep it, you know what I'm saying, a buck with me and trust my own judgment. You know what I'm saying? I trust my own judgment. I know what I know. If you know what I'm saying, if you lend the ear out and you have patience, you know what I'm saying, I could tell you something, but then if you don't know something and then you don't further in by being inquisitive by that which you may not assume, you know what I'm saying? There's ways to communicate things about people without drawing, you know what I'm saying, a degree of, how would I say it, incredulousness. You know what I'm saying? It's like I know what he's trying to say, but it's like, to me, it's like I in my own mind, it's like, look, reading books and getting knowledge, like I find myself to be I've read books since I was young. I get it. But yet you still have to go out in the field and do stuff. You have to go out here
No,
and talk to people and like really
I
like
agree.
ground yourself.
No, I agree. I agree. I agree. But for me personally, on a personal level, I think that for the situations that I found myself in, that self dialogue that you have with yourself from time to time is an extremely important thing, because the world will try to convince you that you ain't nothing, that you ain't, in particular the black man, in particular the black man, that you ain't worth nothing, that you have no contributive value, that it really tries to play that propaganda game on you. And that self dialogue, that dialogue that you have from within, that is an extremely important thing. And we see so many brothers out here right now, they may not say it, but you could tell they suffer from low self esteem. And sometimes to counteract that feeling of low self esteem, you have to have that self dialogue and tell yourself from time to time until you manifest it, because sometimes the evidence is not there. The evidence is not immediate. Sometimes it's take time before the evidence correspond with what you expressing through your mouth. Sometimes you gotta talk things until you live it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Sometimes the evidence
delay
is not there.
gratification
Yes, yes,
and
yeah. Sometimes
manifesting. Yeah, I know, manifesting.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So I just think that this he is expressing sometimes what I express sometimes to myself until I able to live it. So I just think it's important for us as brothers to really have that personal self dialogue when we in situations that we see that, man, this situation ain't looking good. But I can talk myself into the situation until I live it. You know what I mean? I gotta have that personal self confidence. So I just think that these are kinds of things that we can do to counteract the feeling sometimes of hopelessness and low self esteem that some of us have from time to time. That's all I'm saying.
I dig it. I dig
My
it.
my issue with the gentleman in the video, and it's a general issue, and I've mentioned this before on Shoot the Breeze. And Bakari touched on it for a bit, and Nama X touched on it heavy in the chat. I don't like this thing where black men always have to resort to street credibility. Like, he mentions he has a master's from NJIT and all that, but that's in passing. That's why he's talking about being in the feds and all this kind of stuff. Like, the problem I have, and you'll see Tariq Nasheed, like Nama X pointed out, in there, former Nasheediite, right? This thing where, I'm like heavy in the streets. Like, what? So what? Why are we always attaching our shit to the streets? Yeah, and why is it we kind of advertise ourselves to that lowest common denominator, the streets, the bullshit, right?
Look,
He
can
should
I
be
answer that?
talking more. Yeah, go ahead.
Look, I mean, to be honest, look, in this world that we live in, I mean, growing up, you know what I'm saying, as a Black American, the streets are the proving grounds. I mean, unfortunately, it is the level in which it's not like it is the life of the grind. It's the life of getting from point A to point B. It is the life of going out here and seeking opportunity, because unfortunately, it's not like our the streets are analogous to the field. When we speak of, like, you know what I'm saying, the field, I mean, unfortunately, we don't have like true fields where we're out here, you know, in industries with big, you know, with big lots or anything like that, which I would think that would be the optimal field, the field, you know what I'm saying, the field nigga. But it's like what we wind up doing is having to get it out here in this American system in which we have to, you know, it's the proving ground. It's not, it's ugly, it's dirty, and we all want to get out of it. But at the same time, if you're not out there in that field and you wind up being a little bit sheltered and then maybe a little bit, how would I say it? I don't want to, in a side way, I would say a victim of your own success, in which you are so successful in the various lanes of development that is set aside, you know, educational, academic, in which you can excel and, you know, not necessarily stumble and fall. And it's one of those things where it's like you don't want people to fall. It's not like a crabs in a barrel mentality, but it's just the reality of metropolitan Black urban, you know, living, where there's millions of people who are just out here, and, you know what I'm saying, making it month to month, paycheck to paycheck, and just getting it how they can. And so the streets is what we all relate to. It's not pretty, it's not ugly. And I really wish that, you know what I'm saying, we didn't have to necessarily claim them, but sometimes, you know what I'm saying, the only thing, sometimes, you know what I'm saying, now, if you belong to the streets, you belong to the streets. But sometimes the streets is the only thing that have your back. So it's a double-edged sword. It's one of those things where it's like, it's where it's like, it's not in the streets is not literally just the streets. It's a way of life. It's a way of living. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know, the people who are about the streets live in houses, and street stuff happens in how it's a philosophy. And I'm not saying it's the best. I mean, my thing is that the streets can be salvaged, but once again, it just takes a lot. It takes a lot, and white dominance is destroying our neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? Redlining, Jim Crowing Black people. So it's really, really hard. We find ourselves back on the streets because we can't stand still. If we stand still in one spot, that's loitering. So we have to keep it moving. I don't even know how to describe it, man.
I want to add to what real RBG said just now, but I'm gonna put it in my own way because he put it in his way. I think that what he did is he understood the reason why he mentioned academia in passing is many of us are not there, so it's not relatable to many of us. It's in particular young black men. Many of us are unfortunately, we take on we have to get like RBG said, we have to get a lot of us have to get it out of the mud. So we defer academia. In fact, many of the sisters go to academia where we have to take care of mama at home. So we start early. We defer college and we start early. A lot of us, we start early and go into some of them go into street life. Some of them resort to different means of having to secure our families, you know, our children, etc., 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 etc. So I think that is more appealable when you relate to people on that street level, because like I say, many of us are not in academia. Now, academia has its place. Academia certainly have its place when it comes to the think tanks and things like that. But it's not to suggest that street men on the
Buana.
street level. Yeah, hello?
Buana.
Yeah.
Yeah, Buana. See, that's a dichotomy that I also don't like. That there's the streets and there's academia. Many of us actually operate in between those things. A lot of us are not academics, and a lot of us are not in the street either. Why not appeal to that?
I am able. I have been able to carry I was able to walk that tightrope because I could relate. Some brothers, we work on extremes. You either have the brothers like Barack Obama and them who went to privileged universities for their entire lives and they know nothing of the streets. In fact, the only thing he knows about the streets is when he came back after receiving these privileged degrees and went back to poor and impoverished neighborhoods. Then you have the other extreme of that, which is a lot of people, you know what I mean, who have never went into academia. And then you have the people who toe the middle ground. Unfortunately though, the people who are going to listen, the people who, with his message and the way that he speaks, he's going to have a bigger appeal because there are more of us who are on the other extreme as opposed to the colleges and universities. That's just a reality of life, brother. Maybe with the women, but not so much with the men. So I think that is for us, me and you and brothers like Oni, who had the privilege of being able to see two sides and could walk that route and be relatable. But unfortunately, you know, and you see it with the numbers and subscriber base, the brothers who come from the other extreme, you know, I mean the street extreme, they'll get the larger following because more of our people are there and they appeal to that is a larger appeal as opposed to we carry the intellectual line and we also carry the everyday man, the common man line as well. So we teetering in the middle, but there are the two extremes that we have to contend with, and that's the trick that we have to master.
Yeah, so that brings me to the case of, well then, what are we trying to accomplish? So what is this guy really trying to accomplish? Is he trying to elevate the streets? I don't really hear that so much in the conversation because he's talking about, you know, the time he was in the feds, blah, blah, blah. I just think, like, for example, I used to watch this show called 5150 with a comedian called Corey Holcomb. He used to be one of my favorite comedians at one time, black guy. And there's this insistence of pointing out that he fucks with the streets and the streets fuck with him. And I'm like, why can't you just talk to the everyday man and let the streets get whatever they have to get from the message if they choose to, but talk to the everyday guy who's not in the street. It kind of boggles my mind that we always appeal to this, you know, the underbelly almost of our society. It's strange. Zuliism is telling me, don't disrespect Corey Holcomb. No, Corey is cool, except he's a little bit redundant. Brother Bakari in the chat is saying this is how we relate to our youth, explains our high illiteracy rates. You see what I'm saying? If this is how we relate to our people, then then you know, why is that? Why is that the only way we could relate to our people? Why aren't we trying to change it? I guess what I'm saying.
I think that many of us don't have the ability to break down complex matters. The things that me and Gas, we used to have ideological conversations about Foucault, Adam Smith, these economic theoreticians. Okay, now unless you could break that down, and very few people have the ability to do it. I think I do, but very few people have the ability to do it. To have conversations where you could break things down in almost a rudimentary way, where a person on a street level will be able to understand high complex economic theories, theoretical discussions in a very simplified way. There are not many people who could do that. There are not many brothers who could do that. So they have to rely on what they know. You know what I mean? To get them through their daily life and daily decisions. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, sometimes that's party and bullshit. Sometimes that it is what it is, but it's our responsibility. It's our responsibility as so-called informed people to give what we can to better inform our people in a different kind of way. That's all I'm saying.
Trigger Happy 262 kind of hits it, you know, in terms of what I'm trying to say. He says, is your issue, Bitter Medicine, that we aren't relating to those in the streets with a more apex version of the black man? That's essentially what I'm saying. Like, why is it the lowest degree type thing. Trigger Happy says, to me, in order to get black people into newer cultural systems of organization, manhood, womanhood, etc., you still have to get in them streets. It's just a matter of lucrative mass organization. Nama X says, hold on. He says, many brothers can. I think we underestimate each other. He earlier said that he can do what Buano was talking about. And then he says, quote, black men can have complex conversations. Yeah, I don't like that idea. I don't like that idea. But let's go to Oni. Oni's been waiting here. Oni, what say you?
Shit, I ain't got nothing to say about this guy. I don't know where. Like, man, I don't know. He seems like a clown. I ain't gonna hold you. I don't know what this was about. Like, he starts off the video with, y'all thought I was gonna go from the right, but I came from the left. I'm like, wait, who is this motherfucker? Like, I don't even know who this guy is. But I mean, according to what I picked up, I guess he's trying to connect with street folk. And this was a lecture for street folk. And I mean, and I could appreciate that. You know, I could say, look, everybody has their own demographics. You know what I mean? And if this man's demographics is street folk, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I get that I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I can say. I get that I don't get it. I don't know why Buana said I had some privilege. I don't know what that is. I was like, what? But like, I could say, for instance, I was at my son's mother's house, and the brother was on YouTube. You know, like, no, not like, well, that sounds weird, right? No, her brother-in-law or some shit was on YouTube, right? And so, like, if I'm on YouTube, I'm looking up, like, you know, I'm looking up some, you know, like, entertainment shit, whatever. This dude was looking at, I think it was like a car show, you know? So I guess somewhere in the South, I don't know, black folk have car shows where they just show off their cars, you know? Like, not like Pimp My Ride level, but like Pimp My Ride level type thing, you know? Where it's just like, you got the rims, or you got, you know, a car that's high blue or some shit, you know, kind of like a carnival, but just not people, not women, cars. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he found as entertaining. You know, he could watch other people show off their cars on the streets, you know? And a lot of people got together to look at that type of shit. So it's like, yeah, if he's talking to a demographic, like, I'm not the intended audience. You know what I mean? And so I don't get it. It looks like clown shit to me, but, you know, so does staring at cars. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, like, if I'm looking at like a video game, I'm sure somebody's looking at me like that's some clown shit. Or if I'm watching some dude play a video game, right? Some white boy play a video game or some shit, right? I'm sure somebody's like, this is not entertaining at all. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think this video has an intended audience, and maybe he's connecting with them. I can't tell, but like that's a reality though. Like, cause even like I know my brother was telling me, one of my brothers is like on that nerd shit. He's telling me about this one black comedian, like this one black boy who like makes comedy, just like Caleb City or something like that. His audience is a bunch of nerds people, right? But then there's also RDC World, right? And they make comedy too. They're like a comedy troupe, and theirs is like a little bit more hoodish, you know? Young people, also nerds, but hoodish. And then there's like other black comedians, there's a variety. So I think he has an audience, and this is how he connects. I don't get it, but like I'm not supposed to get everything, you know? He seems like a loser. I'm not gonna hold you, but you know, again, like it is what it is. I mean, I don't see any higher consciousness here. I don't see any encouragement for scholarship. I don't know what's going on, really. I don't see. I'm not gonna lie, I don't. Now, maybe like the thing about the world is that there are dog whistles. So it's like, maybe there's a dog, like maybe somewhere, because Barna says this is a motivational speaker who's fit. You know, I don't see the fitness, so I don't know. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at maybe he has fitness. I don't know. I can't tell. Like the clothes don't really give it away. But I'm guessing this is a dog whistle for go to school. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's what the message was. But like I said, it just wasn't for me. You know what I mean? Part of me was like, let me see if I could download stuff on my phone or something. Part of me was like, let me see if I can do something. Like, let me see if this video could just end. I'm pretty sure nobody's gonna say nothing. I didn't realize that people gonna say something. But yeah, I think maybe there's a I think maybe there's an intended audience, and you know, kudos if they got the message, they got it. You know what I'm saying? Don't know if they did, but if they did, they did. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you. It's possible that maybe I'm just not the audience. Maybe, perhaps, right? But I want to comment quickly before Bakari goes. I want to comment to this comment that Marcus Garvey is way. Shout out to Marcus Garvey is way in the chat. She says the streets are the warriors. I used to think that. I'm off that. I've been off that a while now. The streets are not the warriors because the streets don't go to war with the enemy. They go to war with us. You understand? They go to war with the rest of us. And that's my issue with the streets. This is why I don't glorify the streets. This is why I don't have faith in the streets, quite frankly. So when these kind of messages come up, I guess I can't connect with it because I don't see the value in this street shit. Not while it is. Now, maybe in the 60s or the 50s, maybe the streets was about something, right? It seems like certain factions in the streets were about something. But these guys in the streets today, these guys are just blackface oppressors as far as I'm concerned. You understand? Like now, they're scared of the enemy. Go ahead, Oni and then Bakari.
Yeah, a lot of the black folk on the streets is working for the police, and everybody knows it. You know what I mean? Like a lot of them is working for the police, so they're just another arm of the police, and that's how it's been since. Like, in fact, I remember because Barna said he liked that article I read. I was reading that article by Carlos Cooks, and yeah, Carlos Cooks was like, "Hey, like it was the pimps and shit, the pimps and the street dudes. They were just doing what the police didn't have the nerve to do, and when they failed, that's when the police moved in. You know, a lot of like I used to put down flyers in Brownsville. You know, it was the hood, right? And I come back 3 days later, and somebody tore them flyers down. You know what I mean? And all my flyers was just, you know, pro-black, you know, all that kind of stuff. They tore them down in the community. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying the police didn't do it, but the reality is that nobody protected it. You know what I'm saying? But the streets dudes was looking at me like, "What are you doing in this neighborhood? You know, we will shoot you. We will shoot you over anything. You know, any false move, we're gonna shoot you." Like I'm not. I don't think it. Like I think people mistake being violent with being a warrior. You know what I mean? Like the dude who's beating his wife or beating his girlfriend, right? He's violent. You know what I'm saying? But he's not a warrior. You know, and I don't know if it's Sankara or Cabral, but I think it's Sankara. But Sankara says, look, any soldier without a political education is just a potential criminal. In fact, he didn't even say potential criminal. He said is a criminal. You know, so if these people don't have political education and they don't, right, they're just criminals. And like, just call it what it is.
But wait. What would you call policy, though? Wait. This is my thing. It's like, I know I don't want to necessarily demonize.
Hold on. Bakari, go ahead.
Because I'm gonna get up. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Like, all right. So go ahead. When I heard somebody say the streets is the proving ground, that is bullshit. Why everything negative got to be our proving ground? The streets, the warriors in the streets. Ain't no damn warriors in those streets. I saw them damn one of them. And I'm gonna do a show about it. I'm gonna do a show about it tomorrow. But ain't nobody worried about no damn warriors in those streets. Damn white motorcycle gang pull up. Them punks turn their head the other way. I'm the one who went over there and talked and made them motherfuckers leave. So all this street, the proving ground, and them the warriors. Black people need to cut that shit out. And they wonder why we so behind. And giving this dude, if this dude changed his life, that is good. But if this is the only way, speaking like him and acting like him is the only way we can relate to our youth, when I do the show on the literacy rate of black people, especially black men, y'all will see a problem with that being the only way we can relate to our youth. How about the proving ground be us taking care of our communities? How about the proving ground be let's teach our children something else? I'm not knocking nobody if they had to end up in the street and saying they can't change their life, but the street being the proving ground, no, that's some bullshit. Pardon my French on your panel. I'm sorry about that. But that's nonsense. Ain't no streets, no damn proving ground, and ain't no damn streets, no warriors. Because where were those damn warriors when they kneeled on George Floyd's neck in the damn streets? Where were those warriors when they out here killing black folks in the streets? Them warriors ain't did shit. Where were those warriors when the damn Proud Boys walked up in the grocery store about 5 minutes from my house? I'm the one who checked them. When the motorcycle gang, I ain't no street dude. So I don't want to hear shit about no damn warriors. They looked at them white boys today, and Erica Howard was on the phone with me. Them mother looked at them white boys and turned their head the other damn way. I went and checked them by myself. So talking about a warrior, I'm sick of that shit. The only people they gonna shoot at, the only people is nervous about going into a black neighborhood is black people. Nobody else.
I noticed before RBG goes, hold on. I noticed that Nama X mentioned in the chat that it's Caribbean and South American folks in the gangs now. I've heard Tariq Nasheed say that too. I'm not in the streets, right? So I'm not aware. Are these Caribbean and South American folks who are born in the Caribbean and South America, or are these the first and second generation kids of Caribbean folk? Because there's a difference. The first and second generation kids of Caribbean folks, like my children, for example, right? The thing you have to be careful of with them, and I don't say this to offend anybody, but a lot of times African and Caribbean kids, because of the teasing element in America, they don't want to be associated with Caribbean and African people. They want to be with the cool kids. And they tend to get into that culture, which is why, by the way, a lot of Caribbean folks tell their children, and African folks tell their children, don't get involved with that cultural mix going on, because we didn't leave our countries to come and get into that shit here, right? So I just want to, from Nama X, I just want to know, from his estimation, is it first and second generation, or is it young Caribbean kids coming over here, born in the Caribbean, born in the continent, born in South America, who are heavily involved in this, in the so-called streets? I think Buana wanted to say something, and then Real Black Gentleman, go ahead.
I'll be very quick. So I think that we getting the dialogue confused, because this guy, first of all, he said that he was not a gangster. He is a scholar. If you watch his videos is about working out. You know what I mean? Ain't about doing anything illegal. It's about working your body out and working your mind out. Anyone who watch this and live anywhere in the West know that many of our people are morbidly obese and they lack proper nutrition and proper exercise. He is exposing the world to a total way of living, exercising, working out, doing things that can help your body even after you reach a certain age. That's and he does that on the street level. You have also the video we just saw with Brother Bakari made, where the brother was in the street doing his own business. His own business. He is a enterprise entrepreneurial person. He's in the street selling street food to people every day. So I think that my interpretation of what street means is something different, or maybe something different than what other brothers may be taking on as being in the streets. So I just want to make that clear.
All right, RBG.
Yeah, what Buana's saying kind of like alludes to what I'm trying to say. The streets does not equal criminal. And like I said, I know what I said. It's like the streets is a broad way of life. If I have to drive from place to place, do my 9 to 5 and drive back, worried about all this traffic and stuff, trying to, weave in and out. If I, out here trying to do moves out here, and I'm not like in a cozy office, and maybe I can kind of like drift off to my suburban-ish. No, I'm talking about the streets. I'm talking about what I'm saying? I don't, and the streets is not necessarily always clean, but yeah, there's something about someone who's out there on a grind trying to be ambitious. That's what I mean by streets. That's what I mean by the proving grounds. Yeah, I stand by what I say. I mean, it's like, it can be rough, but that's what I mean by proving. You have to like have your sav and your wits. It's not something that it's a different type of learning that you're not going to get from the academy. And I think that, trade schools is an extension of street culture in a way. If you're a plumber, you use more street than someone who's like, come on. Now this dude, like I said, I think that this dude, my taste, I think I made that clear too. It's just like, look, I cannot sit here and say that, as far as what I want to interrupt is about like the street, when we talk about the streets being closed, look, our people, for whatever it's worth, in our perspectives, who may not have any awareness of any kind of conversation that we have, they're still our people, it's our people, right? Look, their experiences and how they see things relative is still just as pertinent. The way that they engage, we talk about, Black people impact policy just by their engagement with various apparatuses of the state. So there's a lot of things we're not aware of that is that is positive that Black people are doing. So like, let's keep this shit, a whole buck. The streets is not all bad. That's one thing I don't like. That's all I got to say.
Why I have a question. Why I don't know why I would get into Nama X tonight. I really don't get into him. Why is Nama X blaming Black immigrants for the crime rates that you see in your cities, brother? Nama X, with the greatest respect. I don't know, man. He very well, bro. America didn't have to have Black immigrants before they had crime, brother. I see extreme examples of crime. Don't you know how America was made, brother? America was made through mass genocide. How you blaming the Black immigrants for having extreme levels of crime when America was made off of the backs of mass genocide? Come on, bro. Come on. You can't blame us for that. Come on, man.
I don't think we have the numbers to really sway that too. That's my problem with that too. We don't have the numbers to really be the leaders of violent crimes in America. I find that I just think the numbers don't vibe with that well. If there's no last thoughts, I know Carl was trying to get on, but he had some internet issues. But Nam, I thank you for giving me your insight into that question. If there's no other thoughts on that, let's go to Shooter Breeze topic number 4. But in fact, you know what? Before I go to Shooter Breeze topic number 4, let me share this with you guys, because I think that topic kind of calls for this idea that we need some kind of healing going on. And so I want to take you guys, I'm going to play about 5 minutes of this. For those of you stateside, there's a Melanin Healing Science in Bongi, April 22nd, from 11 to 2 p.m. In Richmond. And this brother, I'm going to play 5 minutes of this. This brother's going to talk about it. And then we can talk about it if you want to, or we can move on to Shoot the Breeze topic number 4.
Welcome everyone. This is Professor Olatunji Mazimoyo. I'm co-director of Aya Educational Institute, along with my wife, Mama Afia Mazimoyo. We have partnered with the Fahude Shule Homeschool Co-op Virginia Union Center for African American Men, Virginia Union Center for African American Women, and Virginia Union Workforce Development and Training to bring you a dynamic educational and community development event that we call Melanin the Healer, Melanin the Science Teacher. They're part of an ongoing program called Melanin Healing Science, and it features student presentations and community building discussions with adults aimed at solving our problems. I'm so glad to be with you and talk to you briefly today about this dynamic program that will happen next Saturday, again at Virginia Union, 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock. 11 o'clock sharp to 2 o'clock, where you'll get to see students working, and then you'll get to see us discussing some of the problems that we're facing and how melanin and melanin healing science particularly may help us solve them. Now, some of you, I'm sure, are in a hurry and you'll need to click away. So I'm going to give you the short version. And then for those of you who can stick around, we're going to dive a little deeper. There are three problems that are facing our community that we're going to address. The reason is short of it. Our people need to become science-loving and problem-solving people again. A part of the solution is this event that will happen at Virginia Union on Saturday, April 22nd, that we call Melanin Healing Science. Students, high school students from Richmond area have been researching this, but not like you have seen before. And they will be presenting their research, things that you probably have never heard of. It's not melanin and the pineal gland. It's not melanin and 666. It's not melanin and the esoteric heights that it can take us. It's melanin healing science. And after their presentations, then our discussions. These presentations and the community discussions will take Richmond to new heights, and hopefully lift those students to new heights as well. The event is free for students of all ages. It's also free to elders. And for adults, we only ask for a donation. None will be turned away. So if you will, go to www.ayaed.com. That's Aya, Ed, AYAED.com. Just click on the melanin banner. That'll take you to a website and you can register. Now, if you can't be there, we really do want you to be there because our students need you to be there and we need to have these discussions in our community. But if you just can't be there, then register anyway so that you can get the streaming link. The streaming link will only go to those who've been registered. So I look forward to seeing you in the place, and I look forward to or your streaming, seeing you in the streaming community online. Now, for those of you who can stay a little longer, let's go a little deeper.
All right, so that video, hold on a second, let me grab the link. That's on the bbtometv.com. You guys should all be a part of that social media network anyway. It's an African platform by Obarle Campbell. So I'm putting that link to that in the chat. You guys check that out. If you can register, by all means, please do. You can watch the stream as well. There's the three things he wanted to break down. I'm going to see if we can make that a prompt for next week so that we could talk about the three things that he was about to break down. But please, if you can, support two things. Support that event if you can, and support the bbtometv.com and the bbtoomey.com as well. The let's go to Shoot the Breeze topic number 4. Let me just grab it again.